Hello everyone, I'm Gary,
I'm John.
and this is
Two
Two Bros
Bros
Doing
Doing
Shows. And today we'd like to come at you with our wrestling podcast with a few questions that we thought up this week for our wrestling audience out there. And here we go. So, first question, what was it about the CWC you liked the most, and who is your favorite wrestler?
So for me personally, I thought the best thing about the CWC was that all the matches were excellent. There was one match towards the end which was a bit slow, but that was because the guys knew each other. I really feel like all the other matches, though, were really fast paced. They were really well done. I mean, the first week of the CWC was a bit more. But that was because all the guys were jet lagged. But after that first week, everything was just fantastic. My favorite wrestler out of the CWC is Jack Gallagher. I thought he made an impressive debut in the CWC. I thought his match against Akira Tozawa was amazing. When he rolled him up into a little ball and kicked him in the ass, that was hilarious. I really feel like that is the best thing that WWE has put out in a very long time.
I thought the CWC was an incredible boost of adrenaline for the WWE. I think bringing back the cruiserweights was an excellent idea. I really feel like seeing that kind of fast-paced action in the ring again was just something that I thought was dead like 10 years ago, and now we're bringing it back, and I'm glad because there's so many different styles you can do when you're small, as they talked about the strong style, the lucha style, the technical style, the high-flying style, and we got to see all of that over 10 weeks, which was really awesome. And honestly, you know, I'm a little depressed that they didn't sign Zack Sabre Jr. or Kota Ibushi thus far, but I honestly have to say that those that they did sign were definitely not the people who did anything wrong, because almost everyone who stepped into that ring during the Cruiserweight Classic did everything right. I think even making TJ Perkins the champion was probably the right move, because you have 18 years of experience because you started at 13. That I don't think you can beat that, honestly. Like, in the sense, too, that Daniel Bryan even expressed the same thing. He'd been wrestling longer than Daniel Bryan. So I can't disrespect on TJ Perkins. My favorite wrestler, though, out of that whole group was Grand Metalik. The way he just was able to walk on the ropes and flip over and just do all this crazy shit was just impressive. I could not believe what he was capable of doing. So I loved every bit of it, very fast paced. So our next question was, at Clash of Champions, every championship was put up for grabs, but only one changed hands. Do you think more should have changed hands? Now, I'm going to start off with this question.
Okay.
To be fair, a lot of these plot lines and storylines hadn't been going on as long as Rusev versus Roman Reigns. So that one, I really did want to see that put to rest, because I think both of those people need to move on with their careers. Give Roman Reigns the U.S. title, give him a ball, let him run with it, let's see what he can do. It's not the upper card title, so let's see if he can gain the respect of the people back. Now, as far as the women's title, I think that the reason they didn't give it to Bayley right now is because she hasn't been there as long. And a lot of people that don't have WWE Network, they don't watch NXT like I do, they don't know about Bayley. They don't know about what she did at NXT Brooklyn last year when she fought Sasha Banks in the main event at that pay-per-view. I think that, Bayley's a great competitor. I think Sasha Banks, too. I mean, she's a great competitor. She'll get her time to shine, but I think the reason that they left it on Charlotte was because they wanted Charlotte to keep it for now. She'll probably lose it, though, I would say, around Survivor Series. I think the reason the tag team titles didn't change hands, we obviously know, is Francesca. I don't think they're ready to give it to the club yet. I think they want them to beat Demolition's record. As far as the Universal title, they're dragging that out, in my opinion, until Survivor Series 2. I think that I really think that they're going to give it to Seth Rollins at Survivor Series. So I think they're going to keep that strap around Kevin Owens for a little while. What about you?
Personally, I think that I kind of wish Sasha Banks would have gotten the title back. I like the idea of bouncing the title around a bit before they just give it to Bayley. Because eventually she is going to have a title win, and it's probably going to last a while. At least that's what I hope. But, honestly, I mean, besides that, yeah, the Roman Reigns match was... I mean, his title reign is one of those things that's, like, whatever to me. I really feel like... that was the only title that they thought that could have changed hands without changing the storyline too much, and actually, puts Roman Reigns at the top in the mid card instead of at the bottom. And I think you're right. I think it's a way for him to sort of gain trust with the WWE Universe, but we'll have to see how it goes. But mostly, I just think that the women's title should have gone back to Sasha Banks.
Okay, next question. Who will be our next Universal Champ?
Okay, so I'll start this one off. My personal feeling is that they are waiting until Finn Balor comes back. I really think that maybe they'll give it back to Seth Rollins before he comes back and have it be a three-way match. So I'm saying right now that Seth Rollins is probably going to get the titles back, but then again, for all we know, they could just play, bouncy ball with the friggin' title between Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins up until a bigger pay-per-view.
So you're thinking that they'll bounce it around till what, WrestleMania? Because Balor is not even due back for 6 months. So,
well, the way that they're going with the story, if you don't mind me adding, is it really seems like they're playing up this whole thing with Kevin Owens being the top guy in Triple H's little band of bootlickers, I guess you could say. And so now that Seth Rollins is out of the, now that Finn Balor, is out of the picture, they need something to buy the time before he can come back.
Honestly, I think the next Universal Champion is probably going to be Seth Rollins. I don't think they're going to keep that belt on Kevin Owens longer than, I would say, Survivor Series, because they usually try to start prepping for WrestleMania right around that time. That's when they start shifting gears from what they started doing at SummerSlam, and we get that change of pace that we usually get during that period. It's like WWE has about 5 periods of adjustment, and that's, the Rumble, WrestleMania, actually before SummerSlam it'd be Money in the Bank, then SummerSlam, and then Survivor Series to end out the year. So I get the feeling that Seth Rollins will not reclaim, but get his shot again at that belt, and he'll get the belt, and Kevin Owens will get a rematch, I'm sure, at the whatever December pay-per-view they have, and then it will eventually lead up to him. Either I think Balor will come back, I'd say at the earliest the Rumble, and at the absolute latest WrestleMania, but maybe we'll see a surprise entrance at the Rumble. You never know. I think, though, that it's definitely going to be Rollins. I don't think they're going to wait for Finn Balor's health to be at 100% to swap the belts. I mean, I don't know if you're a big fan of the Kevin Owens show, but
I'm a huge fan.
personally, I don't want to see that stupid idiot anymore on my TV. So, stupid Canadians, Anyway, next question. Who will end up with the WWE title, and will Cena get his 16th title reign?
Why don't you hit this one off?
Okay, first of all, I think at No Mercy, it is going to be more of a surprise than people think. I don't think they're going to give it to Cena. I just feel like this is really to set up a big Dean Ambrose push, and potentially a Shield reuniting with the Universal Champ, the US Champ, and the WWE Champ, and them running roughshod again over the WWE. Personally, though, I do think it's going to be Dean, because look at what's happened. I mean, AJ Styles is pushing him over the edge. Cena's pushing him over the edge. You have Stone Cold kind of pushed him over the edge on the podcast. Personally, I don't see how if they're going to have this much build up for one guy, only to have him duck and lose. That just doesn't seem like a great use of a talent. So John Cena's been spoon-fed 15 WWE title shots. So, I mean, as a fan, I would like to see Dean win. Honestly, in an honest opinion, I'm not sure who they're going to have win that match. I mean, it could be AJ Styles that walks out the champ. Could be Cena that walks out the champ. Could be Dean that walks out the champ. So, what do you think?
I think Cena's a little hard for getting their 16th title win. I think that they've sort of been, I mean, the fact that they're like mentioning it and they've been bringing it up so much, that's pretty much an inevitability at this point. I mean, even if it's not now or Survivor Series or whatever, it's gonna happen. So regardless of whether you like the idea of Cena for the title or you don't, it's gonna eventually happen. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure that they've already sort of worked that out. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, heaven forbid he win the Rumble, but
I don't think we need any more Cena Rumble wins.
No. But yeah, just elaborate more on that, for a moment. I think the whole 16 title reign thing with Cena, that's too much. I think that you need to focus more on talent that you already have than focus on talent that either A, has already been done to death, or B, is just selling the most merchandise. You can have other guys that sell merchandise. You just have to push them. And I just feel like them not pushing other people and constantly spoon feeding us, tons of Cena. I think anyone who's above the age of 18 does not give two shits about Cena. And so, honestly, it really, I don't get it. But then again, I wasn't born into the Cena era. My brother and I here were Attitude Era. Yeah, we were the 90s. We saw Monday Night Wars. We saw Raw. We saw SmackDown actually be born.
Yeah.
So the fact is, giving this to Cena really changes the game, I think, for a lot of wrestlers. Like, if Cena truly becomes the standard bearer for title reigns, I just don't know. I don't know if I like the sound of that. Let's leave that Ric Flair and let Ric Flair hold that. That would have been like, and as much as I love CM Punk, it would have been like having CM Punk break Bruno Sammartino's record and have him be the title holder for 5 years. I just don't think people would have liked that, and by that logic, he'd still be the champ right now. So maybe, less Cena. that would be my prescription for the WWE.
Yes, we don't want to see him anymore as a champion.
Yes. Yeah, we have seen him enough. Anyway, next question. So, anyway, are we done with Jobberville on Raw? I'll take this one first.
You take this one.
I think we are, because I don't think they want to give up time to guys like Braun and freaking Nia Jax just to beat up some pointless jobber who's going to show up there once.
Don't forget about Bo Dallas.
Oh, please. Yeah, I believe it's time for you to go back down to Superstars, because no. Anyway, personally, between Bo Dallas and Nia Jax and Braun Strowman, I personally, that's too much. I can understand maybe one jobber match on Raw, but I would personally rather see what the cruiserweights have to offer. I mean, I like the fact they're having one-on-ones, they're having tag teams, they're putting them together in ways that I wouldn't I didn't expect them to. Like, I didn't expect cruiserweight tag team matches. And that's a lot more preferable to some crappy, I'm just a monster who's gonna take a broom and sweep you under the ring. Yeah, no thanks. I think I preferred you in NXT when you actually wrestled people like Asuka. But honestly, and the thing with Braun is they just don't know what to do with him anymore. Now that he's not a part of the Wyatt cartel, you know, he's just seems so out of place. Like, I don't want to listen to some guy say that he likes big sweaty men. I mean, personally, no, that's just I could do without that. So I would love it if Jobberville was over with, because I just like leave Bo Dallas and Braun on like main event or some garbage like that nobody watches anyway, and then, you know, have the real stars on Raw. Because, you know, when people were screaming, please sign Cedric, I felt more passion from 1,400 plus people than I did from 20,000 or so that didn't give two shits about, I'm just a monster dropping somebody on their butt because I don't care. You know, I just like, why? I'm watching this again because I watch wrestling because it's interesting, not because I already know who's gonna win. I think that making it so obvious is just dumb.
Okay, so personally, I think we're nearing the end. Actually, I don't think we're there yet, but I mean, as you said, with all this new talent, with the cruiserweights coming in, they're obviously going to have to give more time to those guys. So, personally, I believe that they just need to take Braun Strowman and Bo Dallas and put them in NXT and have them rework their gimmicks. Because honestly, it's just tired at this point. We've seen these guys do the same damn thing ever since they started. Bo Dallas especially. That guy's been Mr. Bo Leave since I believe a few years ago.
2014, if I'm not mistaken.
Really? Is that all? Just like one girl. He really hasn't made an impact.
Well, that just shows that he hasn't made any impact because...
It's sad because he has a lot of potential. Personally, I always thought that he should have joined up with the Wyatt family, since he is the actual younger brother of fucking Ray Wyatt. But, you know, that's just me. But yeah, when it comes to like Nia Jax and Braun Strowman, well, Nia Jax especially, she's getting underutilized. I'm actually really ticked that they have her doing all these job matches when she's a lot better. She was on top on NXT.
Yeah, we both saw that match that she had with Asuka.
It was amazing.
It really was. You know, and then when you have two women screaming at each other, ah, you know, and it's just like, it doesn't get too much better than that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Personally, though, I think we're nearing the end of the jobber matches. I don't think we're quite there yet, but as soon as the cruiserweights are more integrated, I guess I could say, we'll still see them probably for a few more weeks doing that kind of stuff. And hopefully maybe less of Bo Dallas and Braun Strowman at least.
Yes, because we all love big sweaty men. So, okay, next question. Who do you think is going to take the Intercontinental title off The Miz? as far as I'm concerned, there are three possibilities. Now, The Miz is really looking at being the big heel. Like, I'm gonna win by cheating, and that's how I'm gonna keep my title. We've seen him, spray Ziggler in the face like twice now with the girly mace. You know, which was probably Body Axe hairspray or something. So I have to be honest.
No, it was Sparkles from Twilight.
Yeah, shut up.
Shine more. Sorry, go on.
Sunshine.
Sparkle.
But seriously, I have to say that that it is kind of old, but it's also old school when you have that one heel in your company that is holding a title and they don't want to give it, and they have them not give it up because you're gonna be the big heel and you're 7 foot tall. No. But in all honesty, The Miz he's a very he's an astounding heel. He does the part well. He's very good at mic work. I think that is one thing that he's had going for him from the get-go. My issue with him now is that in the wake of all this, I wrestle a soft style. My hashtag for him was King of Soft Style, but he does sort of wrestle a soft style. He doesn't have a lot of big money moves in his move set, I've noticed. So it's going to be somebody that's going to be willing to take risks, and it's going to be somebody that has maybe a higher impact move set. So I say it's going to be one of three people. I think Dolph Ziggler is hungry, and we know he's hungry. We knew he was hungry for the WWE title when he was cutting that promo and then hit freaking Dean Ambrose right in the chin. Ow. And then I knew he was hungry when he got put up against The Miz, not once, but twice, and then didn't come out the victor because of the sparkle spray. Honestly, I believe that, from what I've heard, he's going to get a third chance at that title. It will be in Sacramento. I honestly think that if he doesn't win it in Sacramento, he's probably not going to win it, which would then leave me to my second choice, which would be Zack Ryder. Now, some of you are probably thinking, why would you say Zack Ryder? He's immortally tethered to his imaginary friend Mojo Rawley. Well, he was Intercontinental Champion for the span of 24 hours. If the company wanted to give us a swerve, so to speak, I think that have Zack Ryder come back as, say, a #1 contender for the Intercontinental title, since SmackDown's all about no glass ceilings for anybody. Have him call out The Miz, have Daniel Bryan set the match, and then have him win, and then have him beat Miz in the rematch. And then, I've seen many people hold tag team and singles belts before in unison. So it's not so beyond belief that they could do that for Zack Ryder. So the other person I honestly could see them handing it to, but he'd need a little bit more work on his ring skills, would be Apollo Crews. Because as far as, mic skills, he needs more work on the mic department. But as far as his ring skills are bar none some of the best I've seen. I think his mic skills, not so much. You could see he was very uncomfortable on the mic the few times that he has been on the mic. and his voice tends to fluctuate quite a bit. So you can't quite pinpoint where he's at as far as where he's at in the locker room and where he's at as far as in terms of a title shot. So if Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler don't work out, I would look out for him because he's probably the one that's coming. Now the next one. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So for me, I think Dolph Ziggler is going to get it. They're already in a feud, so I think eventually he will get it. Though, I will admit, like, in the future, I really do want Zack Ryder to come back into, well, really any kind of title picture. Because it seems like WWE is, like, giving him, like, table scraps, like, oh, you'll have this title for this amount of hours, and then you're going to drop it to this guy. They've turned him into a transitional champion, which is stupid. Because he's so over. And having...
woo, woo, woo.
You know it. But honestly, I really feel that they're going to give it to Dolph Ziggler. And they're going to have it go back and forth for a while until they can find... Until maybe Apollo Crews can, you know, get high enough up there to where he's, you know, so over.
Well, the thing is all three of those guys are super over. So, I mean, you look at you hear the crowd pops for Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler, and they're freaking huge, dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because, Zack Ryder's, like, always been over. So, to me, that's the saddest part, is that everybody loves Zack Ryder, but WWE refuses to utilize him in any sort of way that would put him top tier. Okay, the guy's kind of goofy, but you know what? That's fun sometimes. I like having goofy champions.
Well, look at Enzo and Big Cass. That's goofy got written all over it. You might as well give him an Acme Dynamite kit.
I know.
I mean, everybody loves their soft comedy. So, and they've get the biggest pops I've ever seen, honestly. When everybody wants them to spell it out for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, ever since, you know, Zack Ryder was stripped of his internet championship and his Intercontinental Championship, technically, it just seems like he's been left with his imaginary friend in the closet. I feel like Mojo Riley doesn't even belong in a wrestling ring, honestly, but...
Well, the guy's big. I'll give you that. He's just... I don't know. Putting Zack Ryder with Mojo Rawley was like taking someone that is like really hot in a casino and putting you know what a cooler is, right?
Yeah.
When you sit someone next to someone that's really hot, and all of a sudden something happens and they're just doing really shitty for the rest of the night. That's what they keep doing to Zack Ryder. It is.
That's an interesting way of putting it, but yeah, I can't deny that one. So, yeah, and that's what The Miz was for him. He was a cooler, you know, and he got sat next to The Miz, and The Miz beat him, and that was it. And it was disappointing because you look at the other side of the coin, and they sort of did the exact same thing to Darren Young. Because, well, yeah, Darren Young's so great he can't beat a guy like Titus O'Neil. Right. I'm sorry, but if Darren Young was so great he would have been on Raw last night. To be fair, I do like Darren Young. He is a great wrestler. I wish they would have made him the one to beat Rusev, but that didn't happen. I feel there's so much great talent that they're just not utilizing.
They just put them in just crappy ass gimmicks.
Yeah, and they don't use Sami Zayn enough either, in my personal opinion. That guy, he was on the pay-per-view. So I'll admit, at Clash of Champions, he did face Jericho in what was a pretty awesome match, and it was a clean finish. So I can't complain. Jericho did this, and this. Well, he's a stupid idiot, but he did win.
So wait, Sami Zayn and
Jericho,
the other Irish guy, are on the same.
Yes.
Yeah, that's One Soul's company right there. I'm sorry, that was really bad.
Anyway, next question. Do you think New Day will break Demolition's record?
Absolutely. I'll elaborate.
Go
So they would not have them holding on to the titles so tightly, even by cheating, just to have them lose it right before they break the record. So honestly, it's just one of those things where, yeah, they're gonna keep the record. They might lose it like the night they break the record.
That would be funny.
But honestly, and besides that, and barring that situation, they're gonna retain. And after that, who knows?
Well, if you were to ask me, they're 3 months away from breaking the record. Now, they've been saying 490 days, but then yesterday it was 478, so I find that rather weird, but that's WWE for you. I mean, Seth Rollins was our first US and WWE champion that held them both, at the same time. Granted, the Miz did that too during the spinner belt days, cough, cough. But the honest truth here is they don't have much of a tag team division on Raw. They took like every tag team and put them on SmackDown. Like everyone except for Big Cass and freaking Enzo Amore. And then you have the Club, and then you have New Day, and then you have
the stapled together tag team of
Sheamus
and Cesaro.
And Cesaro, which they had to staple together because
they have no
tag teams. Exactly. I mean, who else are you going to staple together? Bo Dallas and Braun Strowman? Is that what's coming next?
Well, that would probably work, actually, to be honest.
That's the scary part about it.
What are you?
Honestly, though, they will break the record. I think the WWE wouldn't be mentioning it so often and force-feeding it to us so often if they weren't going to break that record. I think that once they do, they will probably lose the tag team titles to either the Club or Enzo and Big Cass at the following pay-per-view. I really hope it's not in a triple threat, because they have been doing a lot of that lately, and I'm kind of tired of those triple threat matches. I want to see some more one-on-ones.
What, you don't think Sheamus and Cesaro are going to be the next tag team champs?
You never know. I mean, it's plausible. I'm not saying it's impossible. But, I mean, if they are, they're going to be waiting for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And working their way up through, 3 teams?
Oh wait, don't forget about oh wait, no, was that SmackDown right now? And
yeah, that's
I bad. I I'm just gonna.
and my friend over here is named Stupid Idiot, but you know he's a Canadian, so
Oh, shut up.
but I honestly, I just think that you know with most of the tag teams in WWE being on SmackDown and everything going on Raw,
Yeah.
it just
So that's kind of a big issue, though, isn't it? I mean, excuse my ignorance about tag team divisions, but when you have so many of them on SmackDown, it's kind of hard to think of who could be on Raw unless you expand the Cruiserweight division into the tag team division.
I think that's what they're trying to do with the tag team, you know, cruiserweight tag teams. I also think there is a very nice well of tag teams developing in NXT that they could bring up. I can't wait till they bring up the Revival, and they better be on Raw because SmackDown don't need no more tag teams. So,
Well, them in DIY.
oh yeah, definitely Gargano and Ciampa should be up on Raw. Also, I mean, you call up those two guys, call up those four people, and you have a tag team division on Raw. I mean, that would be an excellent tag team division. And have freaking the Revival lose their belts to the freaking Authors of Pain, which is probably going to be what happens to them anyway, and just get it over with. Start rebuilding, because you're having to rebuild on NXT right now anyway. Your women's division is Asuka, Ember Moon, and everybody else, and your men's division is definitely that's good. I can't. Oh well, no, you've got a lot of people. Come on, you can't forget about Glorious.
Yeah.
So, not to mention, you've got guys like Cien, Elvia Martinez, you've got guys like, you still have plenty of talent to pull from that well. I just feel like, tag team wise, they need to grab some people from NXT, otherwise Raw's tag team division is going to suck.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, last question. Who do you think is going to move up first from NXT? The Revival, Asuka, or Shinsuke Nakamura?
No, this is just like, out of those three people, who's going to come first, not like who's going to be there by next year or anything.
I think all three of them will probably be there by next year, but
we'll see how that goes. But honestly, I think because Shinsuke is still kind of new at NXT, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
So I don't think they're gonna. They might take him earlier, but personally, if I had to choose, wait, who are the choices again?
Shinsuke, Asuka, and the Revival.
Because Asuka hasn't been there all that long either, right?
Asuka's been there now for almost a year.
So Shinsuke and Asuka. So I'd probably say the Revival then would probably be the most likely answer.
If you were to ask me, it's either gonna be A, the Revival, or B, Shinsuke. And here's why I would say the Revival. I mean, I already pretty much know, because I think that Raw needs tag teams.
Yeah.
End of discussion there. Shinsuke, SmackDown needs A-listers so bad. And Shinsuke would be a boost of life to that. And you get the experience of a guy that was in New Japan, a guy that's been in several other independent promotions, and you're getting a guy that just freaking dislocated Samoa Joe's jaw, okay?
Yeah.
I would say send Samoa to Raw and have Shinsuke be on SmackDown. Because you want to separate those two. I think you've had so much of one versus the other in NXT that, you know, for those of us that have watched it, we don't want to see it anymore.
Well, I want to see is AJ Styles and Samoa Joe go again.
I want to see AJ Styles go up against Shinsuke Nakamura, freaking Wrestle Kingdom 6. And just, you know, because that match right there is the whole reason why I want to see him on SmackDown. I mean, just imagine that would be a whole plethora of guys that started on NXT, including Dean Ambrose, you know, as guys who are there representing the WWE title. Why would you not want that?
So then, I have to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Do you think that they'd be passing up an opportunity then in putting Shinsuke in SmackDown and not having him on Raw and go up against Finn Balor when he returns? Well, I mean, he's going to be back by that time.
He's already fought Finn Balor though, and that
in
was
NXT.
on NXT.
In NXT,
Yeah.
not in the main roster yet.
Here's the thing: they're both faces. So unless one were to go heel, the only way I could see Finn Balor going heel is if he hooked up with the club, and you know,
Yeah.
come on. But seriously, I don't see them doing that so much in terms of Finn Balor, because I think Finn Balor wants to stay a face. I see big things in Shinsuke's future.
Well, there's no
really do.
denying that.
So I think that SmackDown is definitely the place for Shinsuke. I think there's plenty of great people he can learn from, like The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, and Zack Ryder, guys that have been there for 10 plus years. Hell, even John Cena. But you're going to get a lot more teachers, I think, on SmackDown. And I think right now they have a lot more of the people that they utilize on Raw. Like, you've noticed that all of the older talent, or the majority of it anyway, is on SmackDown. Like, they even have Nikki Bella on SmackDown. And the reason they have that is for the women to have a teacher. Because outside Nikki Bella, everyone that's been there hasn't really been on the main roster for more than a year. I mean, they're all NXTers for the most part, except for Paige. I guess Paige would be the only other person.
Well, what about Natalia?
Okay, fair enough. Natalia, that's a... Okay, I forgot about Natalia. So, yes, Natalia's been there for a few years. But you've got people... That would be another person. Actually, Natalia would be another teacher. But there aren't many people and Usos would be another teacher, because
Yeah, they've been there for a while now.
yeah, and with the tag team division, you know, you've got the Usos, you've got the Ascension. They're kind of teachers, but you notice them botch a lot. But they were the longest reigning NXT tag team champions, so you can't
but
deny
as soon
that.
as they brought them into the main roster, though, they turned them into jokes.
They did, and they have a lot of work to do on the Ascension, if the Ascension are ever going to be taken seriously. Then you have the Vaudevillains, which I feel like they've been watering down since they brought in. In NXT, they were like one of the it factors when they had a big tag team pool to pull from.
Wait, speaking of which, aren't those two teams on Raw? Or are they on SmackDown?
No, they're on SmackDown.
Okay.
John. Anyway, they've got they do have Rhino and Heath Slater, which we know sooner or later that team's gonna get broken up because
of course.
if Rhino wins that election, bye bye.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, they might not break up that team because
not right away,
again, a good example about teachers and students being on SmackDown. Heath Slater has been there for a while. He's been there for about since 2010. So he's been there about 6 years. So, because that's when the Nexus premiered. So, and then Rhino, God, Rhino has 20 plus years of experience.
We're not talking about teacher. Teacher.
Exactly.
And that might be one of the reasons why they paired him up with Heath Slater.
Because even though Heath Slater does have 10 years of, or excuse me, 6 years of experience, that's a kind of a lot in terms of wrestling, but he hasn't climbed up and grabbed that brass ring up until now. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, that is the first belt I believe that Heath Slater has ever won.
Yeah. Wait, is it? He didn't win any belts with Three-Man Band?
No, he did not win a single belt with the three-man band.
So, it'd be funny if they made sort of a joke that, Rhino wins the election and he takes Heath Slater with him.
Okay. That would be funny, but that wouldn't reflect well on Rhino as far as his political status. So they would only pull that if Rhino lost the election, and then somehow, I don't know, because imitating a congressman, I think, is a federal offense. So
that's a police officer, isn't he?
Shut up. But anyway, it's still. I don't see that happening, but it's nice to see those two with the belts. How long they're going to hold them, I don't know. I just know that they're not going to lose it to Cesaro and Sheamus. So...
wait, considering those guys are on Raw...
well, that's what I'm trying to get at. Mr. Obvious over here. DIY, But I just don't like the fact that, American Alpha has been so beaten down that they're not even... They're doing to them what they did to the Ascension.
Well, American Alpha is out right now because one of them's injured.
Well, no, they wrestled last week.
And
then, against the Usos. And then, but what's his name?
Oh, right.
The whole injury thing is kayfabe, in my opinion. I think the whole thing is fake. I don't believe for a second that he's injured. I honestly believe that, Jordan and Gable are fine. And I just get the feeling that Jordan he'll be fine. That team eventually will win the titles. It'll be after Heath Slater Heath Slater. Yeah, the day he has the title. It'll be after Heath Slater and Rhino, lose those titles and drop it to someone else. So, once that happens, that's when you're going to see American Alpha spring up. Because I guarantee, during that tag team tournament, had it been American Alpha versus Heath Slater and Rhino, and American Alpha had won, they'd have been booed out of the damn building.
Yeah, probably.
So, anyway, that's all for now from the two of us.
Yes, thank you for watching our inaugural show.
Oh, yes. And that's that for now. We're gonna wrap it up. So, Top Guys,
out.
out.